This is one of my favorite pieces in the collection, where as we sort of wander through the garden, this is by Allegro Boetti, an Italian artist, and this was, it is suspected it's his last work of art that he made before he passed away. He actually died of a brain tumor, of which he was aware, and he used to say that his head felt like it was on fire. So this is really a self-portrait. He was a relatively short gentleman and a very interesting artist of that Italian movement. But he created this work where there's actually steam. There's a heating element in the head, and steam comes out, and the water is sort of being poured on it to try to reduce the intensity of the pain. He used to claim that his head felt like it was burning up, and this was sort of this very intimate self-portrait, if you will, of a dying artist, and it's one of the most interesting works in the collection. And this is a cast that was made during his lifetime. Quite a wonderful work, in my view. This was not a commission piece. Several of the works in the garden were commissioned, but a few of them were just felt so interesting and poetic that we wanted them, and we then found the appropriate place, we think, for displaying the works.
Great.
We've moved up to the third floor, which is the, as we characterize it, the one-bedroom apartment over the gallery. And it is, in fact, a one-bedroom house. Yes, that is the most asked question that we get about the architecture. It was originally designed for me and my two cats, and then life circumstances changed. I had remarried 7 years ago and lived with Cindy, my wife, and two children, and one cat and two dogs, about a mile from here. But this is the third level. This is the great level from which you can view everything and really get a sense of the volumes. You can literally see all the way downstairs to the first floor, the panorama view of everything from the exercise area to the office with the books piled up, but a real working office, but always in the midst of art and architecture, and nature. And the wonderful relationship with the great oak tree out back is so beautiful, relating to the whiteness and the pristine nature of Richard's columns and architecture. And again, looking down over the formal space where we just visited. Again, over time, the question is asked whether or not how you feel the house has lived, what would you change? Quite frankly, most other than needing more bedrooms, the house is pretty well presented. It has a certain sense of scale, of presence. It seems formidable at first, but as you go through, the spaces become more intimate. It is not a McMansion in that sense at all. It has a sense of scale and a sense of personal point of view that I think gives it great resonance.
Definitely, because now, what is the square footage of the home?
Probably about 9,000 feet, even though it's on 3 levels. And again, you can see front to back. It's relatively, at no moment in the house do you get a sense that it's vast.
Right, you're never overwhelmed.
You're never overwhelmed, but you're always having the opportunity to glance at art in different relationships to it. In a gallery, in a museum, by its very nature, you go into a space and you confront the work. Occasionally, as you walk around a hall, you might see a work across the hallway that would be interesting and would sort of seduce you into coming and look. Here, you have the chance to see a glimpse of a work out back in the lawn, in the landscape. You see the paintings below, the sculpture below, from a different perspective, just a sense of how they relate. And then you see works literally on the floor and on the wall at the level in which we're standing. Well, the house and collection have been promised, along with the 2 other collections in Dallas, the Rose Collection and the Marguerite and Robert Hoffman Collection, to the Dallas Museum of Art as a testamentary gift, with an endowment to preserve and maintain the collections and the house. So this will fall under the purview of the museum, and it's my hope that 100 years from now people will still be interested in looking at this, and that the curators of the museum at that time will find interesting and thoughtful ways of presenting art within the context of this building, which I think will ultimately be a historical building in the community. And that's the long-term game plan.
Yes, and all the better reason that we have to educate our children, excuse me, to have a passion for art and an understanding of it, so that they will also teach future generations to come see the Rachofsky house. Yes.
Well, that's a great ambition, and we certainly support that.
Yes. Well, thank you for your time. This has just been incredible.
You're very welcome.